Turner Sports. So when you watch like NBA on TNT and you see like Shaq and Charles Barkley, I worked like in that building. So their studio is on like the lower part of the building. It's in like the studio area, the production area. But I worked on like the third floor and they were like in the basement area. So it was cool because sometimes I would get off the elevator and see like Shaq, like, oh, hey, like, yeah. You know, you're like, oh, Shaq.
He's a giant.
Yeah, you're
sure.
like, okay.
What's up, Shaq? You just living life thinking that, oh, I'm just gonna go in this meeting and I'm just gonna wing it and see how it comes out. And when you're not successful, you start blaming everybody else. Come on, man. You know what it is.
Stop putting on a facade and stay creative. Somebody that you're not.
Stop trying to look good and actually
put in the groundwork.
Yeah.
Finally getting a black teacher that looks like you, that represents you, that's smart. You know, it's just amazing.
What's going on, everybody? This is a Sharp and Sharper podcast. I have a special guest with me today. She is an Atlanta native. Her name is Holly Fuller.
Hello,
welcome.
Hi.
How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. How's your day been?
Oh my goodness, good actually. Like it's beautiful outside, sunny.
LA sun.
Yeah, so starting off the weekend on a positive note, so it's going good. How about yours?
That's good. Pretty good. Pretty smooth, you know.
Oh, good.
Feeling good.
Mm-hmm.
Getting ready.
Feeling good,
for
feeling
some
great.
big stuff.
Yes,
some
exactly.
big stuff. So you were born in Atlanta, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
I was born and raised. I actually grew up in Cobb County, so it's kind of like the suburbs of Atlanta, about 15 to 20 minutes from the city of Atlanta.
Okay.
So I got the best of both worlds because my grandma lived in Atlanta. And then I was like kind of on the outskirts, so I kind of grew up between her house and then my house. So I was all in the mix of everything. Had the Olympics and everything in '96, so that's like
really?
childhood memories.
Okay.
Yeah.
But your parents are from where? Are they from Jamaica?
My dad is.
Okay.
My dad is from Kingston.
Big up to your father.
I know. I love it there. I've only been twice. I want to go again next summer, hopefully. So I have family there. And then my mom is from Atlanta, so got that Southern and Caribbean mix, I guess.
You know, Jamaicans and Caribbean, we all do it big.
We really do, and it's crazy as like time goes on, I'm learning how much influence like Jamaica has on the world. Like this little place is just so powerful. You know, you like see Tom Hanks' son doing the the accent.
Right.
Everyone's
I saw
like
that.
going crazy.
He couldn't. I don't know about that.
It's so funny, but it just shows you how much our culture is loved and how much people just want to be a part of it. Yeah, exactly.
The island is beautiful.
Yeah,
I'm supposed to go this year, so I'm excited about that.
Yes, first timer.
Yeah,
yes.
I'm gonna get some coconuts on the beach and
they will like literally grab it from the tree, like get a knife and like cut it open and serve it to you.
Yeah,
like
that's wild.
thank you.
So let's get into it a little bit. So you graduated from St. John's University in 2013 with a major in communication arts and a minor in business law. And then that's in New York, correct?
Yes, in Queens. So it was a bit of a culture shock going from Atlanta to New York, just because New York is so much more diverse. Atlanta, it's mostly like black, white, Hispanic, Asian, but mostly black and white. So to go from like mostly black and white and Hispanic to, you know, you're in New York with, you know, people from India, you're from like with Jewish community, you are like you meet people from like Sri Lanka, like different parts of Africa. You're like, whoa, like I didn't even know that place existed. Like that's where you're from. So I believe Queens is the most diverse county in the world. Definitely in the United States, as far as counties are concerned. So it was a great experience. I was a college student as well as a New Yorker. So that was an adjustment. It wasn't easy. Because at one point I wanted to go back to Georgia.
Yeah. But then, like, this is crazy. You entered for the Oprah magazine, NBC Universal, and the Smithsonian Channel. Yes. Did you meet Oprah? Can you tell her to put me on?
I met Gail.
Oh, okay.
Who's under a little bit of heat right now, but but she was very nice when I met her. So that was back in 2011 that I interned for Oprah magazine. And the first thing that they tell you when you get there is like, you probably won't meet Oprah because she barely comes to the New York office for her magazine. She's always in Chicago office.
Okay.
And this is at the time where she was ending her show. So she was still on air with her daytime show, but she was ending it. And really busy with that.
Yeah, I was going to say, because she's out in LA right now, right?
I believe so.
Yeah.
I think exactly.
Yeah, I think I just passed by her office. It's in West Hollywood, so.
Yeah, exactly. So she was like not really in New York like that. But I got to meet Gail. I got to meet Dr. Oz and Dr. Susan Orman. I can't remember her last name, but got to meet those other people who are part of like her camp. So that was a good experience. Yeah, just to be a part of her team, and I was in the marketing department, so they had me doing a lot of crazy things. I compare it to like the Devil Wears Prada, where they had me going out for like coffee, and they were like, "Find this version
new
of
assistant.
the magazine." Yeah. So I was like grinding, but it taught me, like New York taught me the grit and the hustle. So I will always cherish that, and it helped me to adapt to life in LA. I don't think I would have been as successful in LA if I hadn't had that New York foundation first.
That's good. That's good. That's really good.
Thank you. It was a good time.
All right. So, how did you balance like school life and then having an internship and then still being able like to hang out and party with your friends? I mean, I don't know if you're a party girl or not, but being able to just socialize and just do stuff like that.
Yes, it's so crazy you asked me that because literally I was just talking to someone about that like a few weeks ago, and then you asked me the question. I'm like, oh wow, that's interesting because well, I'll take it back a little bit. So growing up in Atlanta, I did grow up in the church. And so I was very involved with the youth group at my church. So I was in the choir, I was on the usher board, I was like in the
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Right.
And I grew up Church of God in Christ, so if anyone knows that denomination, it's
very strict.
Very strict.
That's what
very,
I've been to church now.
Okay, yes. Very
I know
old
how
school.
they do you. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like if you are in the choir and you're a woman, you cannot wear pants. Like you have to wear a skirt. Like that's how it is. And I would come from like, and we had choir rehearsal on Wednesday, so I grew up playing tennis as well. So I would come, my tennis outfit, I would have to change, things like that if I wasn't wearing a skirt. So very traditional. And, but I'm very thankful for that because it set the foundation for me. And, I grew up with a lot of good morals and values. So I'm very thankful for that. And I will never forget one day, one of the young men who had graduated from high school a few years before me, who was really involved in the church as well. And his name is Bernard Worthy, actually. Shout out to Bernard. He went to Duke, and he had like a 4.5. Wow. Like this man was like people were like throwing scholarships at him, like, please come to our school. And so when he went to school, we were all like, this is amazing. Like he had like a full scholarship, things like that. And so he came and spoke to the youth group. And I believe it was after his first year of college. So he was like a freshman going into his sophomore year. And he told us, put your schoolwork first. He said, you can always go out, you can always party, you can always have a good time. But it just won't feel the same if you have like a lot of work to do. And don't get me wrong, there are some times where you go out and you have a good time and you still have stuff to do. But you have to learn how to balance it, and that's just a sacrifice you make. So you may go out, have a good time, and come back at 3 a.m. and say, I have to finish this paper like in a few hours.
And just grind it out.
And just grind it out, and you're probably you may be up for like 2 days straight. But thankfully you have I lived on campus, and I was a RA, I was a resident assistant for 2 years. So I did have that luxury of having my own room and my own bathroom. So that made things a lot more comfortable and easier. And then you have, food on campus. So it's not like you have to cook for yourself. So you can kind of cut corners a little bit. But I would definitely say if you can get your work done and then go out, you will not feel so anxious to have to get back. And I don't know, I get anxiety sometimes. So I would feel too much anxiety if
about the schoolwork or
about
meeting new people. What's the?
I know that's a good question because it's mental health in our community is something that needs to be talked about, and I probably didn't realize it was anxiety then because people were talking about mental health. This was 6 years ago, as much as they are now. But just thinking about something, like my boyfriend will always say, if you think about it, sometimes you just have to do it. And that's how I am sometimes. If I know I have to get something done, I just rather get it done and then like be at peace with it than like think about it. Because that would give me like, I would just be like worrying and stuff like that. So I'm like, to cut down on that, just get it done. You know, and there were so many assignments that, you know, you just, especially with your core classes, that you're like, okay, I'm not probably going to use this, but I still have to do it. You know, I'm not going to use it in the real world, but I still have to do it and get get a good grade, keep my GPA up. So I would say if you can balance the two, that'll be best. And then it's always good to have friends who, you know, have that like-mindedness, because one of my good friends, he's actually Haitian. He's from Boston, Chris. We would study together. He was actually a finance major and I was communication. So we were totally different schools, but we both had a lot of the same study habits. So we like to study at night. Some people like to study in the morning. You know, we would study at nighttime, get it done, and then go out. So, you know, whatever works for you, I think find that study pattern is really important. Because a lot of people, especially with my girls program now, they don't know how to study. They're like, I don't know, no one's teaching me how to study. So that's something I learned last year. And I'm like trying to give them different tips on studying, because it is like a methodology behind it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then you graduated what year?
2013.
Okay. And then, so was it a few months later you came out to LA?
It's interesting because once I graduated, I was like, I'm done with New York. It like rained at my graduation and my graduation was outside and like they knew it was gonna rain and they just kept us outside. I was so over them. I love St. John's, but they were wrong for that. So we were outside in the rain for my graduation and I was like, and we paid money to go there. Like it's like $50,000 a year. I'm sure it's more now.
Okay.
But at the time it was $50,000 a year, which is a nice price tag. So it's like, we paid all this money to go to this school. You guys are just leaving us out in the rain. Like we could have at least been in the gym. But I was gonna move from New York anyway. But that was kind of just like, okay, I gotta.
It's too cold in New York. I don't know how y'all survive in New York. It's too cold.
I love New York, but it is cold and it is raining. As you can see, I'm here now. But New York is, like I said, taught me a lot. So when I graduated, I did move back to Atlanta. So I was there for a year and a half. And I worked at Turner Sports. So when you watch like NBA on TNT and you look see like Shaq and Charles Barkley, I worked like in that building. So their studio is on like the lower part of the building. It's in like the studio area, the production area, but I worked on like the third floor and they were like in the basement area. So it was cool because sometimes I would get off the elevator and see like Shaq, like, oh, hey, like, yeah. You know, you're like, oh, Shaq.
He's a giant.
Yeah, you're
sure.
like, okay.
What's up, Shaq?
Right, but just so calm, nice energy, great person. So I was very fortunate to get that job for a year and a half when I was there, because it was like a fellowship, so similar to internship, but for college students. And it was only supposed to last for about 9 months, and they extended it. So I was very fortunate to have that experience. I worked in digital media, so Turner Sports at the time had a partnership with Yahoo Sports. So any type of ads that ran on Yahoo Sport pages, let's say for NASCAR, golf, NBA, Turner had a partnership with like running those ads on the Yahoo space, and like both companies got paid. So I was kind of leading that partnership. So it was really cool. I really enjoyed it. And then after that, my internship ended, and I told them I was moving to LA because one of my good friends I met through the T. Howard Foundation, which is an amazing foundation. And if you're interested in media, please go to their website. I believe it's thoward.org. And they provide internships for minority students who want to get into the media industry. So that's how I got my foot in the door.
So when you came out to LA, I heard you got like a job your first week.
Yeah.
How does that happen? You're from Atlanta, and then you come to LA and you get a job in a week.
Right, it's crazy. I moved here without a job. So when I left Turner, I told them like I want to move to LA, and they were so supportive. A lot of people gave me their contacts in LA, so I was able to like set up different lunches and breakfasts and coffee with people out here, to just, network, because I didn't know how long it was going to take me to get a job. I was like, I need to meet everybody. I need to know everybody so I could get my foot in the door, some type of media company, because I knew that's what I wanted to do. And before I left, I was sending out my resume, applying to different jobs, and I applied to an ad sales assistant job over at Nickelodeon. And the HR woman was amazing. Her name's Marta Voda. She's incredible. She was a big HR executive over at Viacom. And I told her that I wasn't there yet. She said, would you like to come in for an interview? And I'm like, I'm in Atlanta, so, but I will be there in 2 weeks. So if you can, if I can come in and get my interview, then I will do it. And so she stayed committed to her word. She said, yeah, once you, come out here, let's set up the interview. So I told her what day I was leaving. It was January 12th, 2015. I'll never forget that. That's the day I moved here. And I went in for an interview the very next day, and they called me the day after that, and I got the job.
That was it.
Yeah, that was it. So I was very fortunate, because I was prepared to not have a job for at least 3 to 6 months. That's what they say. You should. Yeah. It takes about 3 months to get a job usually, if not longer.
And you got it in a week, so that's like, I don't know who does that, coming from a different state.
It's crazy. It was God. So I was very fortunate, and I did have a roommate out here who moved to LA 3 months before me, and she and her mother had gotten the place that we were going to live. So it was just set up perfectly, and I had a place because she and her mom had came out here and was doing the whole apartment hunting thing. We moved to North Hollywood. That was the first place I lived. And so I had a job and I had a place, so I was kind of like set from there and just kind of built my foundation.
That's good. And so when you came out to LA, you got involved in a nonprofit organization. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, definitely. Well, when I started working at Nickelodeon, I knew that I wanted to do something in addition to that. I wanted to give back. I was never that person who just went to school or just did one thing. I'm always like, okay, I'm in school or I'm working, but also, I want to do other things, especially something that really piques my interest. Not that working in media didn't, but helping the community is like a passion, a real passion for me. So I was looking on Facebook, you have that news feed, and I came across, I believe it was like a promoted post or some type of action where maybe someone liked Concerned Black Men of Los Angeles, and then I said, okay, let me click on this, let me see what this is about, because I wanted to help African Americans. That was like first and foremost. I wanted to help the community out here, and because I am from Atlanta, excuse me, where there's such a huge population of African Americans, I was like, I want to find them in Los Angeles, because North Hollywood is pretty diverse, but it's not like Inglewood, or it's not like you're in Compton or Crenshaw. It's like you're a little bit secluded from that world. And so I just wanted to be able to meet people who look like me and who are like-minded. And so I went on the site, Concerned Black Men site, and I applied to be a member. And I believe Rocky called me and then asked me a few questions and, told me more about the organization and how I could get involved. So it kind of went from there.
Right, because right now, for those of you who don't know, she works with the female chapter of Concerned Black Men. Yes. So Concerned Black Men was originally an organization to help young black men, be mentored by men who didn't have fathers and stuff like that. So did you found the female chapter, or how did that work?
Yes, good question. I actually, when I came across Concerned Black Men, I wanted to help African American boys. That was like first and foremost. My parents were like, why don't you want to help girls? You're like a girl. You can't relate to guys or young men. And I said, well, I can't, because we're all African American in some type of capacity. But I felt like I had seen so many programs for girls and I hadn't seen a lot for boys. So I felt like that was a void in our community, where you have all these, empowered women. It's all about women empowerment and helping girls, but I felt like the boys weren't getting that same support. And so when I came across Concerned Black Men, I was like, oh, this is like for boys. This is like perfect. Like, I want to be involved any kind of way I can, even if it's not to mentor, because as a woman, I can't, I can mentor to some capacity a young black male, but I wanted to help in any other way that I could, whether it was getting sponsorships, helping with like administrative tasks.
So what do you guys do? like, you know, for the girls right now?
Yeah, so once I got into the organization as a member, that's when Mark Anderson, the president, he told me that they were starting a girls chapter, a girls program, so a female chapter, like you mentioned, of Concerned Black Men. And he kind of let me run with it because I told him that I would love to like head up that program, and I was really interested. And at the time, I wasn't working. So I had left Nickelodeon and I was at another job, but they had done layoffs. So I had been laid off from my second job out here.
Wow.
And so I wasn't working. So I had a lot of time on my hands, you know, just applying to different jobs and networking and, you know, just enjoying LA. Honestly, this was the first time I really got to enjoy LA because as soon as I got here, I started working. So, you know, you only have like the weekends to go to Runyon Canyon or go to the Getty and just be a tourist. So I was just enjoying living out here. And so I put together this PowerPoint of my vision for the girls program, and it piggybacked off of the boys program. So the boys program has a number of different programs, emerging leaders. Obviously, you were part of emerging leaders with the high schoolers. And then they had Welcome to Manhood, which was for, I believe, is it for middle school and high school, I believe?
Yeah.
They kind of add both of those.
Up until about you're 19, I believe.
Exactly. So middle school to like 19 years old. And I was able to work with Jason, who is the founder of Concerned Black Men of Los Angeles. And he sent me over the curriculum for Welcome to Manhood. So, for example, various workshops like, proper etiquette. They had so many different ones. So I kind of took those in and I gave them like a little twist for girls. So we do cover things like proper etiquette. We cover financial literacy. We cover things like self-defense. So this year we did a self-defense workshop, and that was like, the girls like had so much fun because they're like, yeah, we're gonna learn how to box. You know, they like being active. So I just try to make every workshop as active as possible because you don't want the children or the girls to feel like they're in school. Like, oh, I'm going to Saturday school, I have to sit and listen to someone talk. Like, you want to make it as interesting as possible. So we do things like we did like a cooking class, and we focus on healthy eating and being active. So we made like a kale salad. A lot of girls never even had kale before. They're like, I don't like kale, it tastes funny. And some of them really did like it. Some of them never had like things like veggie burgers, you know. And we made a veggie burger and they loved it. So we just try to introduce, you know, new things to them while keeping them active and engaged. Because they were the ones who made the salad and the veggie burgers.
Oh, so they made them themselves?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the veggie burgers are like little, you know, you can buy them. You just put them in the oven. They're like kind of pre-made, but still, it was like a fun experience for them. So we just try to expose them to things that they're not used to.
Okay, that's really good. What are some of the issues that you notice, like, from the girls that you're mentoring that you have to deal with? Like, are there issues that may have stemmed from their childhood or anything like that?
Oh, yeah. It's definitely interesting that you asked that question. Last Saturday, so we meet twice a month. We meet every first and third Saturday of the month from 10 to 1. So it's kind of early in the morning. So we usually eat breakfast and, you know, get the girls going. Last year we met from 12 to 3. So we wanted to start a little bit earlier just so people could have the rest of their day to do whatever they needed to do. Because some of the girls are like in Girl Scouts, some of them like dance, some of them play sports. So, you know, they have other things going on. So we adjusted that time. And so we had a self-esteem workshop last week, and one of our girls talked about how she had been going through depression. Wow. And this is something that she's dealt with in the past and she's still trying to deal with. So, you know, when you come across things like that they mention, you want to make sure that you have the right people on board who are certified to help with that clinically. And thankfully we do have people and mentors such as your mother who works in education, who are like educated and, you know, certified in how to help young women and children in general with these types of mental health issues. So I've dealt with a few that have experienced depression, so we make sure we talk to them one-on-one. because it is group mentoring, because we're all together, and we have the mentors and we have the girls. We have about 15 girls this year. Last year we had 11 girls, and they're all in middle school, so 6th, 7th, and 8th graders. This year we focused on 7th and 8th graders just because we want to kind of get them before they go off to high school, because we do just work with middle schoolers. We're hoping to create a high school curriculum in the next few years, but right now it's just middle school girls. And when they bring up things like that, like I said, it's really good to have that support system to where you're able to reach out to them individually and be able to mentor them and see what's really going on, dig deeper, ask questions, talk to their parents, so we get everyone involved.
Yeah, because there's a lot of issues that, especially in the Black community, that we face, like even just as children. Like I have this article I want to read real quick from the National Sexual Violence Resource Center. It says 30% of women were between ages 11 and 17 at the time of their first completed rape. 12.3% of women aged 10 or younger at the time of their first completed rape. Only 12% of child sexual abuse is ever reported.
Exactly.
Like, how does that make you feel? And like, working with middle school girls and stuff like that, like how would you deal with that? Or what are some of the things that this program could do to combat that?
Exactly. We do talk about mental health, and we talk about abuse. So that's both verbal, physical. We talk about domestic abuse. We have a workshop fully dedicated to that, actually. That's towards the end of the year. But it's interesting you say that, because I was reading an article as well on child abuse, and specifically in the African American community, and how we can circumvent that. And as you mentioned, I believe you said 12% is only reported.
Yeah, only 12%.
That is the number one issue that we have, is that we don't talk about it.
And it's happening everywhere. It's happening on college campuses. It's happening in studio exec rooms. It's happening in the label room. Everywhere.
Exactly, and that's the issue. Like, we are not as comfortable with talking about it. So it's very important when a child does bring it up to an adult that that adult takes it seriously and does something about it. Because if the child feels as though they voiced it to an adult and that adult doesn't react in the way that they should, or in the manner that they should, as if they care, if they want to help and do something about it, then the child will just kind of keep it inside usually, and then they don't say anything. So the issue is children aren't speaking up because they may not feel like they have someone to trust, or that person who has done that may not be held accountable. And that's another issue, that most of the time those people who do this horrible, heinous act are not held accountable.
Right.
And so it feels like it doesn't matter if I say anything or if I don't, because no one's going to take it seriously. So it is important when a child comes and says that to you, that you do something about it, or else it may continue, or they just will hold on to it well into adulthood.
Absolutely. How can we support what you're doing at the Concerned Black Men that now has a women chapter?
Yeah, definitely. Well, go to the website. It's CBMLA.org, and we do have our full schedule of workshops. The time, the place, everything on our website. The workshops are, they're very intimate, so they're not open to the public. We do choose and select our girls every year. So it's an application-based program, but if you have a middle schooler who's interested in applying for this year, once the school year ends and our new school year begins, please apply. We have our application on the site. You can take a look at our various workshops that we have. And if you would like to come speak, even if you're a man or a woman, it doesn't matter. We encourage all people to come and talk to our girls. So we open it up to speakers to come in.
And donate.
I was just about to say.
To keep these programs going. It's not free.
It's not free. It's free to the public, to the girls and their parents, but it costs us money to keep these programs alive and running. So we're always looking for various grants out there that support mentoring programs. any financial aid is more than welcome. Any
Yes, ma'am.
donations.
Yeah.
So we're definitely open to that. And we have been so blessed. Actually, I just picked up a donation from Fresh Brothers yesterday. So it's a pizza place out here in LA. They donated $100 worth of gift cards
Congratulations.
to us. Yeah, thank you. Ralph's has also been donating to us as well. We also teach the girls about feminine hygiene. So we talk about things like their menstrual cycles and how that they're able to keep themselves up during that time of month, because they are in middle school. They're starting their cycles. That's just what it is. I didn't talk to my dad about it, but he knew it was going on. So it was like something that we have to talk about in our community. And we were actually sponsored by the Happy Period. It's hashtag Happy Period, which your mother actually told us about.
My mom does everything.
Yes, so she introduced us to the founder, Chelsea Von Ches, and she's amazing. She came and spoke to the girls a few weeks ago, and she donated so many products to the girls. They're all organic-based products for feminine care and hygiene. So we were very
amazing.
blessed. Yeah, it was a lot of stuff she donated. So we're open to donations and also money, grants.
Right, send us that money. Now, how can they keep up with you?
Yes.
Does the organization have an Instagram?
We do. We have a Facebook and a Instagram. So our Instagram and Facebook is Women of CBMLA. So if you go on Instagram.com/Women of CBMLA, you'll find us on Facebook and Instagram.
Ollie Fuller, we surely do appreciate it.
Thank
you so much for stopping by.
Thank you guys. Thank you, Robert. You're awesome.
Yes.
Keep up the good work.
Sharper and sharper. That's what we do.
Sharper.